Um, so share the screen.
Okay, can you see that?
Yep. Okay, I'll start the recording again. Okay, so now over to Arielle to study some charts. Thank you, Arielle.
Yeah. So basically, yeah, I hope everybody we took a little break and now we're back at it. This subject is so interesting and it's so profound that we both of us, I know you and I both, Julia, we go down this rabbit hole every time we start to study it, and more material comes out and more,
There's
and
more
sometimes
and
we don't
more,
know
isn't
where to
there?
stop. Um, but I think I, I will probably reiterate a few of the points that you made, but most of the stuff that I'm going to present is a little bit different. So, but it
That's
all
good.
combines to the same, you know. So here we are, starting January 6th, going most of the year till October 23rd, the Capricorn Star Point. Now, I consider if these are the five star points that are this what I call the signs of the times. And even though every 9 months it changes to a different star point or cazimi, all five of the points are in operation. You can think of them as operating behind the scenes all the while. So even though we're just leaving behind the 2 degrees Aries star point that we just had in March, it's still operational for I would say the 8 year period. Okay. Um, and the one before that was 14 Gemini. That's still operational from 2024. The one we're going into is going to be 0 degrees, almost 1 degree Scorpio in October of 2026. And then following that, we will come into Leo in 2027, and that will be 19 degrees Leo. So some of the charts that I'm going to present actually are picking up star point energies from all five of these different star points. You'll see that while I'm focused on Capricorn, you'll also see that, as I said, the sign of the times for an 8 year period are these degrees. They're hot degrees, they're sensitive degrees, they can be used as um, sort of anchor points to any transits or anything else going over them. So it's quite interesting when you look at it this way. I wanted to introduce something that I'm very excited about. This is a new graphic representation from Enigma software, and it is showing the five Venus star points. This is just with the planets, but you can put asteroids and other points in if you want. But this one is kept very simple. The 5 points of the star in terms of where it's been, where it's going, and the highlighted one right now. And it shows, the exact degrees and whether it's an inferior or superior conjunction. So this was programmed
Fantastic.
by Jan
Yeah.
in
Mm.
the Netherlands. So thank you, Jan, for this. It's called Enigma software. Here's a bigger view of it, so we can actually see where the planets are and on the star points. As you see, the Aries star point is still picking up this Saturn Neptune energy. So that one's, even though we're saying goodbye to the Aries star point, it's still kind of active at this point. And then we've got these other star points happening as well. And you'll see coming into some of the charts that we're going to discuss. But I like this graphic representation a lot, and it's answered my prayers because I've been looking for a software to astrological software to display the 5 Venus star points. And there are some displays in other programs, but nothing quite as elegant and clean and easy
Well,
to,
it
to
doesn't put the aspects together. Like
right.
you can do it in Astro Gold and make the points, but you won't see the five-pointed star as you do in that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah, so I love this. And so you can put in any date. You can put in your own, of course, and you can put in any date. And this is for the January 6th event. So this is the one I normally use, is Solar Fire astrological software. So this has got the planets and the asteroids in it, for a little bit more information about what's actually happening in this cycle. As you can see, and I think I centered this chart. I can't remember if I centered it over Washington or New York. It might have been over Washington. And what I find very interesting, if that's the case, in the 10th house, and Washington and New York are fairly close together anyway, but the 10th house and politics and Capricorn and the government is very much featured, as well as the fact that on the geodetic map, Capricorn over Washington, D.C., Capricorn is the midheaven.
Mm,
The geodetic midheaven is about 13 degrees Capricorn, and the geodetic ascendant over Washington is about 26 Aries. So we have, still we have Chiron going over that point, and Eris, as you can see, very close to that point. But what I found really interesting about the 13 degrees Aries on the ascendant for this is that Saturn is going to make its station retrograde at 13 Aries later this year, later in
mm,
2026. So the ruler of the star point, which is Capricorn, Saturn, and for the whole year, we're watching Saturn's movement. So I think we want to watch what happens when Saturn, as you can see right now, it's in the 12th house still with Neptune and Pisces, but it'll kick over into Aries pretty soon. And then later in the year, it will go retrograde on that 13 Aries point. Yeah. The other thing I wanted to make note of that you're going to see in some of these charts is 29 Leo on the moon. The moon at 29 Leo for this chart, because of the location, if you do it for, well, actually, any location is going to have the 29 Leo moon because it's for a specific time.
time,
The
yeah.
houses will change, but the moon will stay the same. So 29 Leo is a very interesting degree because it's also Donald Trump's ascendant degree, 29 Leo. And it's also the opposition of the America Sibley chart moon, which
Mm,
represents the people. I think it's around 28 Aquarius, that moon. And so this is 29 Leo. So I think between the president, the administration, the policies and politics of the time, and the actually where the American people stand, you're going to see a lot of opposition coming that way. This will truly be a year of opposition from the people to the policies of the government. And you're probably going to see a lot of cabinet changes and firings and the blame game going on, because in Capricorn, that's another thing that can often happen, is the idea of taking personal responsibility for your actions and um, facing the consequences of that. And the shadow side of Capricorn on that regard is passing the buck or blaming somebody else and trying to get out of facing the
well,
consequences.
someone does
So,
that very well, don't they?
yeah, exactly. Exactly. So, it's not hard to see how this might play out. And so many more ways that this might play out, but definitely uh, Mars is up there really strong, trying to stay in control. But We'll see. Saturn, how much power really there is here with Saturn in the 12th and Pisces conjunct Neptune. I think it's like, um, I would say that um, it seems like we're in a lot of hot water right now.
Getting hotter as well.
Getting hotter by the moment. As you said, with the Venus and Mars, the heat, the
Yeah.
conductivity of heat for Venus. Venus is a conductor of heat, and Mars needs heat to kind of make itself potent. And that's another good reason why Mars and Venus have always been an attraction point.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And that, I mean, the 29 or nearly, zero Virgo is, of course, Regulus, which represents kings and those in power and, those that don't do the right thing falling apart. So there's a lot of kind of symbolism there for sure.
Yeah, and of course, that is Donald Trump's ascendant, 29 Leo, and he has pretty much crowned himself king. He has
Mm,
made himself king.
yeah.
Um, you know,
Yeah.
nobody else has, gone along. I mean, I don't know. Some people have gone along with that, but it's really interesting to see how this is played out. He's the man who's always wanted to be king.
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
So it's an evening star. These are just a few notes. 17 Capricorn, the Sabian symbol, is a girl bathing in the nude. That to me conjures up pictures of what we've been hearing about all year. The Epstein files has been the number one story. It
Mm,
hasn't stayed out of the news more than a day or two for most of the year past. And there's more to come. And not that this symbol would relate to that kind of thing, but when you think of a girl bathing in the nude, you think of a girl, a young, not a woman. This is a
yeah.
girl in the nude. So it's more like exposing things that are
Yeah.
supposed to be covered up, that have normally been covered up. It's not covered up anymore. It's a full expose that's coming out.
Mm,
So I thought that was kind of interesting,
mm.
especially with Mars and Venus involved on either side of the sun. And one, as you said, starting the morning cycle, and the other one starting the evening cycle. So there's, this juxtaposition of Mars and Venus going on
Yeah.
anyway here.
There's something that I
The
just thought about, Ariel. The Venus behind the sun is often, understood as Venus in the underworld, where the Inanna goes down into the underworld and she's exposed, fully
Yes,
exposed.
exactly.
Yeah,
Hanging on the
yeah,
hook, naked,
yeah,
to give up all of her garments.
yeah.
So a lot of exposés, also
Mm,
happening, which I think is also telling of that Saturn Neptune in the 12th in Pisces. I mean, you can try to hide as much as you can. You can try to lie as much as you can, but eventually it's all gonna,
it'll catch up.
Saturn does not do well in Pisces with Neptune. It just, it's all gonna melt away. It's all gonna
Yeah. And Jupiter's watching, remember? Very closely.
exactly, exactly.
Yes.
So, with both Venus, the Venus Star Point, and the Sun conjunct Mars, we've got a lot of Mars action this year. So we also want to watch Mars. We want to continue to watch Mars and what it's doing throughout the year, as well as Saturn. Um, 4 planets and 2 asteroids in Capricorn. So of course we're going to watch Saturn. Jupiter in Cancer is actually opposite the VSP, Venus Star Point, in mid-February and again in April. So I would watch those dates as well for Jupiter. When things come out, it's an opposition, right? It's big, it's something big. Um, so it is the chart cast for Washington, D.C. I thought that was true. Yeah, Washington, D.C., 13 Aries. And so I mentioned that before, but watch when Saturn goes up to 13 Aries and then turns retrograde. By the way, King Charles's midheaven is 13 Aries, and Saturn's turning direct. Saturn's turning retrograde this year on it. So I've got a few of the royals to show because I really believe that there's a lot of things going on in the royal family right now that are uh, really imploding, exploding and imploding. And I just wonder how that's all going to come out. Um, so, okay.
I
Um,
just noted that Jupiter will station retrograde at 50 or 15, 16 a Cancer. So yeah, so it's also very much aligned with its station as well.
mhm, mhm. Right, exactly. Oh, yeah. So we have a Saturn station in mid cardinal. We have a Jupiter station in mid cardinal. We have the star point and Mars cazimi in mid cardinal. Cardinal energy is really potent. It's really like wants to go, wants to move, wants to
Yeah.
act. It's also hitting angular houses. Again, this is for Washington. The moon is in the anaretic degree in Leo, as I mentioned, opposite some really important points in the United States chart. And you can look around the world, like whatever country you live in, and see how does that 29 Leo moon affect your place of living or maybe your country's chart as well. Um, and so what does all of that point to? It points to the need for compromise because the moon is opposite the US moon of the people, and or downright friction and over the top emotional reactions, like in large crowds reacting, large groups of people having an emotional outburst
Mm,
about whatever is going on. Now, the moon it rules the tides, it rules the weather. I mean, the moon is very, very close to an opposition of uh, Pallas Athena, which I have found interesting because Pallas Athena is also uh, been traveling through Aquarius and is been on the USA moon, and Pallas is also there in the USA chart in Aquarius with the moon. So
mm,
I think there's another thing about government, and I think Pallas Athena typically deals with women and women in politics and women in leadership positions. And I think that Capricorn energy of the star point is also going to be Capricorn is, after all, a feminine sign, so to speak, a yin sign, if you will. And so I think with Venus there, Venus and the Sun with Mars empowering it, I think you're going to see more female voices rising to, you know, rising up and coming out of the
good.
corners, and having
Mm-hmm.
more of a voice now. So, yeah. So let's not forget that this star point happens on January 6th. And what is interesting, as I mentioned earlier, I feel like these star points are active for 8 years. These points are valid for 8 years. Now, the capital insurrection, which we call January 6th to shorten it, is like the same thing we do with 9/11. We don't call it the day the World Trade Center
Yeah.
was bombed. It was more
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
it's more like, no, 9/11, we all know what that is. Well, January 6th is the same thing. It's the day that the Capitol insurrection occurred in 2021. And so now the sun is right on the
Yeah.
sun of
Wow.
that
Mm,
day, this VSP with Mars,
mm,
Venus, and the sun. So I think that's another thing that's going to be activated in the news cycle, or something is going to occur as a result of that January 6th occurrence. I also noted that Jupiter and Saturn were still very close in their new conjunction in the new air cycle, but Saturn was at 2 Aquarius on that day. And of course, we're going to have Pluto coming over that point.
Mm.
Pluto's already been over it once. It's now retrograde. It's going back. I mean, it's direct now, but it's going to go pass over it again another time. It's also going to pass over the Jupiter at 4 Aquarius. So I'd like to see if we if we come up with any new information from that day, and how that might be reflected in current events for the coming year. This was kind of interesting to see. Zoran Mamdani is the newly elected mayor of New York City with an overwhelming victory, called the first ever of so many boxes that were ticked in terms of him being elected, from his heritage and his religion and his everything. And it was, the campaign was fierce. They called him, the opponents of him called him, communist,
Mm.
socialist, jihadist, terrorist, every name in the book that you can think of. And he still won with an overwhelming majority. And I was looking at his North Node at 13 Capricorn conjunct Neptune at 14 Capricorn. And that so much reminded me of the I Have a Dream speech by Martin Luther
Mm.
King. It just,
Mm.
that energy coming together is like I have a dream. And he seems very pure in his intentions and very committed in his intentions with all that Capricorn, to really do something that's going to change things for New Yorkers. Now, the other thing is
Do
he's
you think he
the,
can go
we
further? Do you think he can go further than being the mayor of New York, like politically, like in the American landscape?
um let's see what
Yeah, yeah,
happens
yeah.
at
Mm.
the Scorpio star point.
Mm.
I'm saying wait and see because right now he's, the poster child for everything that has just
Yeah, yeah,
happened, and a lot
yeah.
of people are cheering it. But he has an exact Mars square Saturn in his chart, as you can see. And the start point of Scorpio in October is going to be right on 0 Scorpio on his Mars and Mercury conjunction. And while I do feel that that can energize his Mars and make things, because the start point really, enables, empowers, gives a lot of energy to a planet or wherever it's falling in the chart, it really gives it shines a bright light on it, even though Cazimi it's invisible Venus. You can't see Venus, but the sun and
It
Venus
will be
together are
the
such a
retrograde.
luminous aspect.
Mm. Yeah,
So
it will be
what do
the
you think?
retrograde, won't it? All over there. The
It's gonna
retrograde Venus.
retrograde. It's
Yeah.
gonna be a morning
Mm.
star, so it's gonna go over those points,
Mm.
several times. All of those points, the
Mm.
sun, his Mars, his Mercury. Let's see by October where he is, what he's been able to accomplish, or is he fighting forces in New York that are so powerful that he can't get anything done because it's a Mars Saturn square and he's being, um, sort of like
Mm.
Obama was, he's being forcibly strapped to a
Retained. Yeah,
chair,
right.
his hands
Mm.
tied. He was like hardly could get anything done because the Republicans just kept saying, "We're not going to let you do anything. We don't care
Mm.
that you were elected president. We're going to block everything you try to do." And they're still trying to block him. Still trying to attack Obamacare, the health care that he brought in, and just so many things. They haven't gotten over that yet.
Mm.
Um,
Mm.
And so we'll see how effective Mom Donnie is going to be. Of course, a lot of us are hoping that he can deliver what he said he was. I also find it interesting when you asked about could he go into a bigger national scene? Well, look at his South Node. It's at 13 Cancer, and the American
It's the moon's
sun,
sun,
as we
yeah.
know,
Mm.
is
And then,
there.
of course, the geodetic coordinates are his nodes of
His
Washington.
nodes are right on those
Yeah,
geodetic
yeah.
angles.
Mm.
So of Washington. So yeah, I think he
Mm.
could.
Mm.
And I love also to see that these babies uh, born in the 90s that were babies just a short while ago when we were doing the chart of the conjunction of Neptune and Uranus in the 90s and going, oh wow, what are these kids going to become with all this Neptune and this utopian vision of the world, and what are they going to do? And I've already seen a few charts of these people coming to age and how what their dream of doing for the world is. So I think he really does have a greater dream. It's a
Mm.
powerhouse that he has in Capricorn, you know,
He's a
and
worker,
it's all governed by
he wants,
Saturn.
yeah, he wants to get things done.
And Saturn's at zero Aquarius, where the Jupiter Saturn conjunction was in 2020, setting off a 20-year cycle. So, again, his chart is quite, it's really, he's got a lot of points that fit to the signs of the times.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah.
I just, we all hope for his safety. Because
Mm.
that's a volatile thing coming up with the star point, but I'm also looking at his Venus Jupiter conjunction there, and I think that's a lot of protection and a lot of angelic kind of presence there as well, um, with the Venus Jupiter. So we'll see.
Mm. Yeah, nice. Mm.
So this is the governor of California, Gavin Newsom. I'm sure you've heard of him. He's been in the news a lot lately because he's
Follow
been
him
the
on
only,
Instagram. I
yeah,
follow
he's
him.
been
Funny.
really, really vocal, very
Yeah.
vocal and verbal against Donald Trump's policies. And he's been the one that hasn't been afraid to speak out. And I thought, I remember doing his chart several years ago and his moon was in Capricorn. I wonder if it's anywhere near the star point.
Mm.
Bingo.
Oh,
There
yeah.
it is,
Wow. Yeah,
16
yeah.
Capricorn.
Right. Wow.
So you're going to
Square
see
the
a lot more
sun.
of him
Mm.
this year, you know.
Mm. Oh, perfect. Yeah, wow.
Um, he's going to be the likely Democratic frontrunner candidate for president in 2028. I can't see anybody else in the field right now that could
Mm.
surpass him. And we tend to look to California a lot to represent the Democratic side of things, because it's a state that has really um, more or less led the the charge in progressive values and progressive thinking and things like that. So and the other thing is, I
Mm.
kind of peeked at his chart on election day 2028. Jupiter will be in Libra exactly on his sun that day. So that's not hurting his chances either.
Mm.
His own Venus star point is 6 degrees Virgo, and it's conjunct his natal Venus at 4 Virgo. I've always said that when Venus is conjunct its own star point, it's a really strong messenger of Venus. It's like a carrier of Venusian energy. And of course, he's a Libra. He's got that Venusian charm. His South Node's in Libra. He knows how to smile for the camera. He knows how to say things people want to hear. He knows how to say things that people will like him for. He wants to be
Mm.
liked, you know.
Mm.
So you know, that's part of it too. And he wasn't born that far out from the conjunction of Pluto and Uranus in the 60s, as you can see in Virgo there. So he's got, he is thinking of the bigger picture, the world, and all of that. And I think aspirational. Um, so we'll see. And when the star point, actually in the future, when the star point goes into Libra, again, his south
Be on
node
his
will be put up,
node.
his
Yes.
nodal axis. And the geodetic ascendant descendant of the United States is really around 26 Aries and Libra.
I think it's 21, Ariel. I think it's 21, 22, because I remember when Eris was there in 2016 at 21 Aries, it was when Trump got elected. So it's more 21 than 26, but anyway.
Okay. The
Yeah.
difference is that
I've got my book here.
the Sibley
Mm.
chart is based in Philadelphia, and the capital is Washington. And while they're not that far apart, there are a few degrees difference
Yeah.
on the geodetics. So I think there's
Mm.
something at 26, and it might be the Philadelphia one or it might be
It's
the New
actually
York one.
23. Sorry, it's 23. 23.
Yeah,
So
23.
anyway,
Okay.
yeah.
So, but
Yeah.
26 is, but
Maybe
23 for
Philadelphia.
Washington.
Yeah.
Or,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Way. It's right in there.
Yeah, yeah,
I've
yeah.
been wrong before. I predicted really big things for Kamala Harris in the past. I think it was the past cycle of in 2019 going into 2020. But well, she made it all the way to presidential candidate. She made it all the way to vice president. She made it to presidential candidate. So she got further than most
Yeah, yeah, for
women,
sure.
almost any other woman has gotten in America, but she didn't quite make it, to the presidency. But I was looking at her chart and the star points in that and thinking, wow, she's going to be in high focus. And Venus is going to be
Mm,
good to her, be nice to her, but wasn't quite enough. There was a more overpowering candidate there, obviously. So we'll take a look at Gavin Newsom and see what happens.
very
For
interesting.
some
That,
Now to
yeah.
change course a little bit, Jeffrey Epstein has been in the news almost every single day this year. Nobody has wanted to drop that story, and for good reason. It's a story that actually needs to come out. If you're at all sensitive to what the victims went through, it's not something that should be hidden any longer. But we all know who he is. No need to go into the history of it. But looking at that star point, I was just kind of, I had to really go, wow, 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 wow. Talk about
Yes. Chiron and
Chiron
Uranus. Wow. Yes.
and Uranus. And this is, right on the ascendant descendant. Now, a lot of people have a Chiron Uranus opposition. And so I'm not going to say that there's aberrant sexual behavior in that conjunction, but it is possible. There's aberrant behavior in general with that opposition. And because it's a wild card. Uranus is a wild card, and Chiron's a little bit on the wild side. And so when you've got the two together, opposition, you've also got RFK Jr. has that same opposition, and there's other people I could mention,
There's
but
a it's a very long opposition. It's like goes for 20 years or something. It's a
it goes
really
for a
long,
very long
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm not
I've
saying
got one.
everybody will have that, but
Yeah.
they'll have some kind of wild streak in them. You know, it may not be sexual, but in his case, obviously, it was sexual because when you look
Mm,
at this is the seventh house, Uranus, and that's Chiron on the ascendant. But then when you look at his Mars Venus, they're right together and they're aspecting almost totally. They're feeding right in to the
mm.
Uranus Chiron opposition. So we have a lot of the Mars Venus action going on there. And then you've got Pluto in the eighth house as well. But
It's also that
this
Jupiter
is,
in Taurus ruling Mars and Venus, it's like hungry, like Taurus is like, very, very much into, what it wants. So that I can see that very activated there as well.
yeah, exactly.
It trines the
And then,
ascendant too, doesn't it? Yeah.
right. And then,
Mm,
0 degree Aquarius sun, that's also on that Saturn Jupiter conjunction of 2020 and for this 20-year cycle. And it's also squaring the upcoming Scorpio star point at 0 Scorpio
mm,
that's coming up in October. So I don't think
hmm.
Jeffrey Epstein is fading
Is
from,
going away quickly. That's
he's
right.
not going away quickly. Yeah,
Be more and more uncovered. Oh, wow. Yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Great example.
So
Mm,
the next one I have, as we know, Andrew has already suffered some pretty serious consequences as a result of his connection to Jeffrey Epstein, and I think all of his titles were removed. He's been banished from his home.
yeah.
What will become of him and where he will go from here, I don't know. I've heard some stories reporting that he's got a mansion waiting for him, like a palace in the Middle East, somewhere in Bahrain,
He'll be
or
all right.
he's going to be taken care of. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's not going to be suffering too much, except for what Capricorn actually suffers from the most, and that is public humiliation and shame.
Mm,
His Saturn
mm,
is at 14 Capricorn, right there on this upcoming
yeah.
cluster
Yeah.
of Capricorn. And there's the black moon, 14 Cancer, right across from it. So he's also, like Jeffrey Epstein, got a very tight Mars Venus conjunction. They
Mm,
both had what's been being revealed is they both had overwhelming sexual appetites, and that nothing could satisfy them. It was like a hunger that couldn't be, a thirst that couldn't be quenched. It was like
mm,
it just wanted more and more and more. And I just find that
mm,
interesting. I don't think I've seen that in every Mars Venus conjunction I've seen. And, I've seen a lot of them in people's charts over the years, but in this particular case, it's definitely true there. What I also wanted to point out is his Pluto and his Venus star point. His natal Venus star point is 8 Virgo, and he's a morning star, of course, conjunct Pluto. So the Venus and Pluto are tied together to begin with.
mm.
And then Virginia Roberts Giuffre's natal Venus is 8 Virgo,
Oh,
right
wow.
on his
All right.
Venus star point. So there's that connection right there. And his
Yeah, wow.
Pluto, of course, there
Mm,
on her natal Venus. Her chart is really interesting too. I didn't bring it into this discussion because it's got other features in it that I will be addressing in other classes in the future. But um, she was born with Venus and Mercury conjunct in Virgo in the second house. And I just thought, boy, you wouldn't think of that going in, but as a victim of trafficking, Mercury, second house,
mm.
Venus, Virgo, like a slave, a sex
Yeah,
slave, a
right.
trafficked
Yeah.
sex slave. It just fits the description. It fits the metaphors there.
Mm, mm.
Um, so he's suffering, so when the Venus star point shows up on your Saturn, if you see it coming, you want to kind of mind your P's and Q's. You want to take responsibility for your actions. You want to fess up to your mistakes and publicly say you're sorry
Mm,
to either whoever you've hurt or lied to or whatever, because the public has a way of forgiving. We all make mistakes, and we're forgiven a lot more easily when we actually truly feel sorry for what we've done. And when we can say, okay, I that was not correct. And now I'm going into rehab or something. I'm going into therapy for this or whatever. It's sort of like a sex addiction is probably like other addictions in terms of it needs to be treated
Yeah.
as an illness, and it
Yeah.
needs certain therapies to help people with it. So I think that his mistake was in denial, 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 denial all this time, and then ultimately settling, paying off, and these people in power that get away with these kind of things that, you know,
Yeah.
has happened
It's really the
forever.
theme of the Capricorn Star Point, isn't it? Sort of coming to bite you.
The other thing is, as I mentioned, Saturn is going retrograde at 13 Aries. So it's stationing this year, square his own Saturn. So we'll see and the black moon. And so we'll see how that plays out. Also,
Mm,
we could see maybe what the actual consequences are, because obviously a Saturn squared to natal Saturn is also going to have you facing the music.
mm.
So Deepak Chopra was another one who came up in the Epstein files. And I wanted to show this because not everybody, we don't always look at the progress chart. And
Mhm.
I wanted to show that this works in progressions too. This is his secondary progressed in the outer wheel. And look at his Sun Mars conjunction up here, 17
Mm.
Capricorn,
Oh
18
wow, it's like a
Capricorn.
repeat, isn't it? Yeah. Jeez. Mm,
Exactly. And
mm.
so, yeah, yeah, it's a repeat. What years did you say that was? Well, it's not with Venus. I think
What
you
year
weren't
was he
sure.
born? Well, no, I mean it's a progression. So yeah,
He
let me
was
think.
born in 1946, I believe.
Yeah, no, it was 62 and 1930. So yeah, it wasn't that time.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah, I think he
Yeah.
was born in October, late October, and there again, there's that sun, his natal sun, coming up on 28 Libra, conjunct Chiron, 27. But look at that
Mm,
stellium in the eighth house.
mm.
When I saw that Scorpio in the eighth house and all the planets in the eighth house, I thought, boy, there's a lot of secrets there. There's definitely a lot of secrets there. And I know you and I have talked in the past about the planetary nodes and the heliocentric south node of Mercury and Mars travel together very tightly. And they're right on his Mercury
On
Mars
my, yeah,
conjunction in
right,
Scorpio.
yes. Ah.
So I
Hmm.
thought
Well, he's
that was
been such a
interesting.
big voice, isn't he, in the world for therapy and deep, transformation and spiritual guidance. So, yeah, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And Jupiter, oh, well, hang on, Jupiter's on there now. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, I
Progressed
think that
Jupiter.
was a big shocker for a lot of people
Mm.
that he wound up um, being mentioned in the files. Yeah.
Yeah. Who else
So
will be mentioned in the files? Are they kind of releasing names here and there, or is it, there's not just one big list that's been released? We're just hearing things
what has
sporadically.
been released so far is the Jeffrey Epstein estate has released a whole lot of documents, and that's where all
Emails.
these emails that have been
Yeah,
published have come from.
right.
The government has yet to, the FBI or whoever is controlling it, as they're blacking out
Yeah,
names
right. Redacting
so that
everything.
we can only imagine whose names they're blacking out. Before
Mhm.
they're releasing them to the public, they're in the hands of the FBI. who are controlled by Trump right now.
Oh,
So we'll
gee.
see what else is to come out. But when Trump said, sure, release the files, I think he was probably aware that a lot of Democrats um, were named in the files, and people like Deepak Chopra, people that he's no big fan of, and that he was very happy to see exposed in this. So, there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes, a lot of things that we're not going to know, but we're
Yeah.
getting
Well,
to know a little bit more as we go.
yeah. I mean, that's the usual thing anyway. Like we know there's so much we don't know and we'll never know and we're not told everything. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. Who have I got next? Okay, so let's shift gears a little bit now. We're over at Prince William. I did think with King Charles having Saturn stationing on his midheaven this year, that we're really going to see, some kind of really dramatic shift in his role as king, and whether it's his health or whether it's, just a decision.
Mm.
um, he's getting up there in age too, but not beyond the point. I mean, his mother lived what, another 20 years more. So, but I don't know that I don't really think he's got that
Got it in
long.
him. Yeah. Mm.
They have said he has cancer. I'm not sure what stage. I'm not sure if they've said how long they think he has, but I know that William has been stepping up and taking on a more proactive role as of late. But look at that signature in William's
Mm.
chart. He's got that Sun Moon conjunction in Cancer, and it's exactly trine Jupiter at the midheaven. If that's not a king, I don't know what is.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Jupiter's the ruler of the chart because he's Sag rising. So the Scorpio star point that's coming up in October will feature
You're right there.
right
Mm.
on his Jupiter, trining
Wow.
his sun.
Mm.
So there's another one.
That's quite telling, isn't it, in a sense? Yeah. Because otherwise it will be 4 years until the star point. Well, it's never going to happen again exactly on Scorpio, at the Scorpio
Now
point.
it's going to go
Yeah.
back to Libra.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
when in October this year, it's the last Scorpio star point for 100 years, and we say goodbye to Scorpio. And I also think
Mm.
that's why this very large sex scandal is being revealed at the last
Yeah,
breath
right.
of the
Yeah, yeah.
Scorpio, because when I was doing my research on the Venus star in the early days, early like 2004 is when I began, I noticed that every time the star point came back to Scorpio, there was another sex scandal.
Mm.
And that not only just every 4 years when it happened, but when any particularly big planet passed over early Scorpio, that those early Scorpio degrees, another sex scandal, like CEOs or royal
Yeah.
people or politicians or disgraced athletic coaches or whatever. It was like it was like these big scandals would erupt. And I thought, this is really interesting. It's all happening in these early degrees of Scorpio. And then I thought, interesting, because we're coming to the last of the Scorpio right now. And it's like you would think, because Scorpio is a sign that keeps secrets, that is likely to cover certain elements up about, oh, I don't want to reveal this. I'm going to keep this to myself. And some things should be kept secret, but other things are like, no, you can't keep the secret. This involves, too many other
Mm,
people and
mm,
all
mm.
that. So it's interesting that it is the last of the Scorpio star points. It's bringing up the biggest sex scandal of probably the century, other than the Catholic Church, which was also being implicated
Yes,
in a
that's
lot of
right.
those
Yeah, yeah.
scandals around the early 2000s, when I was
Yeah.
starting to look at the all the Scorpio stuff that was
Mm,
going on.
mm. Yeah, and then I'm not Epstein. What was the other guy? The TV, the film producer. What's his name?
Harvey Weinstein.
Oh, Weinstein. Yes, that was around the Scorpio star point, wasn't it? Yes, as well. Mm.
Yeah. A little bit later, but still, yeah. And then there was a big athletic coach, University of Pennsylvania, I think. There was a coach that was abusing the students.
Yeah, the
A
athletes.
few,
Yeah.
all
Mm.
the young athletes. I think in some of the Olympic training circles, we found certain coaches also abusing some of
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
athletes, the young athletes. So yeah, this is like widespread. This is not just like in Jeffrey
Yeah.
Epstein's
Yeah.
island.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's been going
Absolutely.
on
Yeah.
everywhere, all around, and it's like,
Yeah.
this is the thing that needs to come, that we need to kind of,
Quite tragic, isn't
um,
it? Whew.
if Pluto's going to get rid of anything, it needs to be this.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
So then I thought, let's look at Princess Catherine, because she's obviously related to this, um, to William, and to what, and the future of what's going to happen here. Her sun is 19 Capricorn, her moon is 18 Cancer, so she's fitting right into this
Yeah. Right.
cycle as
Wow.
well.
Mm.
Her natal VSP is 17 Aries, so that's exactly square this lineup that we're
Mm-hmm.
having in January. And her own Venus star point, which I found so interesting. I mean, not her Venus star point, her ascendant is 19 Leo, and the 2027 Leo star point is exactly at 19 Leo. So just like with
Mm-hmm.
Charles,
Mm.
William, and Catherine, all their charts are, being
Singing,
reconfigured. Now,
yes.
Catherine's gone through a
Mm.
lot. Obviously in 2018 and again in 2022, the star point of Capricorn was 18 degrees of Capricorn. So that 8 year cycle that started in 2018 and is just coming to a close now, with the 16 Capricorn one, is was on her sun, her moon, and quincunx her ascendant. And of course, she had a cancer diagnosis as well, and has been undergoing treatment. And a lot of things have happened in this last 8 years for her. And uh, there were also allegations of William having an affair that surfaced. So she's undergone a lot of, her little Cancer moon has undergone a lot of uh, what I would say personal trauma during this time.
Mm. Yes, interesting. Wow. And then the Scorpio
Yes.
star point will be, well, kind of on her IC or very
Yeah.
close.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
With
I
Williams
think,
on the midheaven. So it's kind of interesting, isn't it?
uh-huh. Right.
Mm.
Yeah. Like reverse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like she's holding down the family. I mean, yeah, the people. I think right now she's the leading figure in the royal family in terms of popularity, um, in the UK right now.
Mm.
Uh, because there have been so many others that have gone through so many scandals and so many,
Yeah, yeah.
so
Can't
many
trust them. That's right.
situations that they're looking to somebody,
They
looking for
need
somebody
a
to
new
like,
Diana. Yes.
exactly, just, and as I've said
Is her
before, in
moon near Diana's sun? In that sense? Like I can't remember what
pretty
Diana's,
close,
she's
yeah, pretty
pretty
close.
close. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
Or the
think
nose.
Diana's sun was 10 degrees
Oh, okay.
Cancer, and her
Okay.
Mercury was somewhere maybe a little further
Right, right,
along. But
right.
yeah, very close. But what I've mentioned before in the Aries star point talks was that Diana was an Aries star point, Catherine is an Aries star point, and Megan is an Aries star point.
Right, right,
So
right.
both of Diana's boys married Aries star points. That was just like their mother, women who had that Aries spark, that
Yeah, yeah,
Aries fire of, you know,
yeah.
um,
Mm.
you
It's
know,
kind of embedded in this story, that this is what works for me as I grew up with it.
exactly, exactly.
It's
Yeah.
amazing how
So
this Venus works. Mm.
So then I just wanted to give an example. Her star point isn't actually affecting too much this year exactly, except we could say that her Jupiter's, which is at 19 Cancer, her Saturn's at 22 Capricorn. It's in the field there. It's maybe within orb, but it's not exact. But what I thought this was a really good example to show was that she is a Capricorn star point. And so she's an entrepreneur. She's not only a star and a really well known and successful star in her own right, but she owns a production company with her twin star Capricorn VSP husband, Tom, and her star point's in the seventh house in Capricorn, which is governed by Saturn, which is in Capricorn on the cusp of the seventh house. And so I thought, wow, what a perfect example of taking that star point and partnering with your actual
Yeah,
partner to run a production company,
business.
which when you think about production and company, they're both Capricorn kind of
Yeah, yeah,
words.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you
Well, it
were
is
saying
opposite
something
of
earlier
Judah.
about her, that she's got something new coming up.
Well, there's a new movie. I think it's one of the classics, done like Jane Austen or I don't know what, one of Bronte, I don't know, Emily Bryant. I don't know. I can't remember the story, what book it's after, but I mean, actually it's Wuthering Heights. It's Wuthering Heights.
Oh,
There's the
okay.
movie
Wuthering
of
Heights.
Wuthering Heights.
Yeah.
And
That's the
the
Bronte, one of the Bronte
Bronte,
sisters.
right. And
Yeah.
so the young man, Jacob Elordi, who's an Australian actor as well, he just played Frankenstein, right? Like, very, if any you haven't seen it, it's a great movie. And actually we know him because my son used to play basketball with him anyway.
Oh, cool.
So
Yeah.
he now, so she's in the movie with him and it's just released. I mean, I don't know, anything more about this, that story, or what's happened behind the scenes or anything, but maybe there's something more to be revealed in that. I'm not sure. I'm just,
Hmm.
but anyway, two Australians in, an English Wuthering Heights movie. Well, it's probably not English. I don't know. It's the English story, but yeah. So
Yeah.
that's coming out soon. Yeah.
That was the one with Heathcliff, right?
Yeah, I
Heathcliff.
mean, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Heathcliff. Yeah. So he plays
Yeah.
Heathcliff and she's obviously
Yeah.
who the other person is. So yeah, I've seen some shorts of it or photos, but it's probably coming out soon, like the holiday season. So anyway,
Okay.
that's kind of, there you go. There it is.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
And we were mentioning the Mars Saturn square before. I think Mars Saturn can get a lot done. It's not always blocked. It's not always like under severe, retrograde conditions or whatever of Mars being inhibited. And her Mars is in its own sign of Aries, exactly square Saturn in its own sign of Capricorn. So I think you know it's worked out pretty well for her. She's taken that cardinal energy of of her chart. She is a morning star, so that would relate more to that. Um, and she's taken it and she's really done incredible things with that uh,
Yeah,
in her
yeah,
life.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's the like her moon also is like one or nearly two Scorpio, but so the next star point will also be very close to, or the next
Right.
retrograde will be over her IC and moon. So, there's something coming up. There's something, maybe she gets an award that's really big, or I mean, Academy Awards coming up. I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something there. This Capricorn star point is opposite of Jupiter. Maybe the movie will be, credited for something. I'm not sure. I mean, she was big in Barbie. That was under the Leo star
2023
point,
is
wasn't
when
it?
Barbie came
Yeah.
out, and it came out just as the 20-degree Leo star point
Yeah.
was happening.
Yeah.
And it's not in this, it could be in her progress chart. I haven't looked at her progress chart, but with all her Cancer, it's very likely that something was hanging out around that 20-degree Leo star point, either Mercury or her
Mm-hmm.
sun. Um, you know, when she did Barbie, because that really was just blew everybody out of the water.
Yeah, yeah,
That was,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So that's
Wow.
another one to watch. Um, so that's what I have for today.
Oh,
These are where you
fantastic.
can find all on my YouTube channel. If you go to my website, you'll find the link. There's so many articles and free articles on the Venus Star Point. As Julia mentioned at her website too, the CIA website, there's tons of things that we've done in the past that are available to view. Also at my YouTube channel, tons of things. So, and that's the book that this is all based on. All my theories of the Venus Star Point are pretty much in this book. There's an ebook version of it too that's more abridged if you want that one. But this is the print book, and it's got all the astrological charts and data in it and so forth. And then these are old classics from the 90s that I wrote in the early 2000s, the twin volume set of the Mythic Astrology.
So Mythic Astrology is out again?
Oh yeah,
Is
it's
Yeah,
been out for a
great.
while, 5 or 6
Yep,
years. It was republished in this
yep,
format
yep, yep.
by Echo Point Media about
Fantastic. Yep.
2019, I think. So this is the new volumes. This is what they look like.
Yep.
But if you've got the original volumes, these are not different. It's the same material. It's just a different cover
Fantastic. Yep.
because it's a different publisher. But
Well,
there's a lot of good information in those too. But those books came out before my Venus Star Point
yeah.
days and research. So
It
there's
was our
nothing.
first book we had to read when I was studying. So,
Oh, yeah.
absolutely loved it. I actually remember buying it for other people that, weren't studying astrology, but I knew they'd love it. Like, this is about the planets and the signs. And if you're kind of at the beginning of your story, or even not at the beginning, it's a wonderful book. Well, all of them are. So thank you, Ariel. That's
You know
fantastic.
what? I've always thought that astrology ought to be learned through mythology, that they are such they're so embedded
It's
with
so
each other.
deep.
The
Yes,
story
it's
of the
yeah,
stars and
yeah,
the
yeah,
planets and the signs have so much to do with the myths that have been created from the stars, the story of the
yeah,
stars,
yeah,
and
yeah,
vice
yeah,
versa.
yeah.
So, and our interpretation of planets have come a lot from the myths, but the myths have come from what the stars are actually doing. So there's a lot
Mm,
of crossover
hmm.
between the two. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
such a rich history of it all. So, yeah. Fantastic. Well, thank you, Ariel, for sharing all of that. And I hope all of you have enjoyed that, deep dive into the cycle of Mars and Venus, the conjunction with the Sun, and all the Venus star work,
that
and
was a
how
lot of
to
great
kind of look at
material.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very good material. So, with that, we'll say goodbye because it's been a while.
Yeah,
Um,
thanks for staying with us.
yeah. Well, you can always pause it, you know that. Well, some videos go for hours.
I know,
on
I know.
YouTube.
Yeah, you can take breaks whenever you need to.
You can take breaks, that's right. But we do hope to see you all again in 2000 and hang on, 2026. Keep up with what the CIA is doing. What else have I got to say? And the Mexican trip.
We
That
hope
will
to see
be,
some of you in
yeah,
Mexico. We really do.
yeah. We know we'll see some of you there. So just keep in touch. And good luck with the rest of the year and coming into 2026. All the best,
Yes.
everyone. Thank you so much, Ariel,
Blessings to
for your
all.
time and
Blessings. Yeah.
all your wonderful work. And we'll see you next time. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Oh, I'm trying to stop the recording. Ay, why doesn't it stop? Oh, stop. What is it doing? Well, Ariel, I'm just going to go out because I don't know what it's doing. Why it won't stop. Why won't you stop? Oh, because you're sharing. No, that shouldn't make a difference. What is it doing? Ariel, it won't stop. I can't find the button. Oh, okay, I'm going to have to edit this last part. Ariel, I'm going to
I'm going
say
to stop
goodbye.
the recording.